In 1991, Bugatti built the most technologically advanced supercar in the world. The EB110 was so far ahead of the game it made anything from Jaguar, Ferrari and Lamborghini look prehistoric. You're probably thinking this is yet another Italian supercar styled by Gandini with an engine in the back the size of Tahiti. Well, you'd be right, but the Bugatti had so much more. The engine was a lightweight 3.5-litre V12. It had trick aerodynamics, four-wheel drive, ABS, power-assisted steering, 6-speed gearbox, wood and leather. It had everything the Jaguar XJ220 should have had, but didn't. Plus, the EB110 was cheaper, and being a Bugatti, it was a whole lot more exclusive. Considering this is over a decade old, I'm a fan of the carved-from granite looks and the technology they tried to apply. This is the second time I've driven an EB110. The first time was back in 1992 when my Grand Prix teammate was Michael Schumacher at Benetton. He turned up for a test at the Paul Ricard circuit in the south of France in a bright yellow one and offered me the chance of a run. I took it down the famous road from Paul Ricard to Bandol, gave it a bit of a thrashing. I mean, it was quick, but I thought it was a little bit strange. Had no power till it got to about 5,000 revs. And then you have to keep stirring up the wide gated gearbox to keep it running. I told Michael when I got back to the circuit and he next got out of the Benetton, yeah, it was okay, but nothing special in my view. His famous long chin dropped just a little bit further. He thought it was great. You've got to remember though, the car he'd come from was a 5-door Escort hatchback. I guess he's moved on a bit these days. But it is a car that you can cover some distance in. You could happily take somebody else's girlfriend away for a nice weekend at a country house hotel in this car. It doesn't rattle the fillings out of your teeth. I suspect it'll work better on the racetrack where you can keep it in the zone, choose your braking points, choose your gears, and that's where we're going to take it now. It's an amazing difference, isn't it? This is fun to drive on the racetrack. I can really get into this. It's so different to the road, where I just could never really get it up and running before I seemed to come across a corner or a tractor or something, and it had no power whatsoever. Now it's great, and I'm even beginning to somehow get a grip on this wide gate of the gearbox, and the braking is very stable. Very impressed with that. Four-wheel drive then now. The track is still pretty tricky in places, it's damp, but I've got the confidence to get on the throttle earlier, knowing it's going to tend to gently understeer. And all of a sudden the gear ratios come into their own, and it all starts to make sense. Front right tyre through this long cascade bend, beginning to hurt already. Just a little bit less grip, lap by lap. Let's try it into another one here at Ireland. You can hear it. Tyre starting to sing now. Into the shell hairpin. Throw it in with some confidence and start squeezing the throttle. In a racing situation, you really want to treat, to a certain extent, the brake pedal and the throttle like it's got an egg underneath it. You don't want to brake. It's not all about going sideways. Sideways is not fast. The only time this car slightly makes me nervous is over a crest where I have to start braking and downshifting. The back end just wants to step out, and it's just slightly a question of, I wonder what's going to happen next. It's easily correctable, but much happier with this car in track conditions. not something I'd want for the road, but given it felt so silky smooth and had a sort of a limo ride compared to the others, it's okay on the road if you could just get rid of that turbo lag. The Bugatti with those 4 lazy turbos is tiresome on the road, but it does manage to get back some cred on the track.